Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Rosa Maria. Today I have a new project, and the project we're going to be working today is a clear vinyl pouch. This is a very quick and simple project to make. It's a great project to make as gifts for your friends and your family, and also a great project to make for yourself. In the description below, I listed all the materials and all the tools you'll be needing to start this project. So let's get started. Materials and tools you're going to be needing for this sewing project. You'll be needing a zipper. The size is prefer 11 inches. If you don't have that, that's fine. I'm gonna show you how to modify the zipper. Any cotton fabric of your choice. Lining of your choice. You can even use vinyl as your lining, and also interface. I ran out of the Palin 987F interface, but use that particular material, and also vinyl, clear vinyl, and now vinyls are coming with little decorative patterns. A ruler. You can use a pair of scissors, or you can use your rotary cutter if you prefer. Either one is fine. And a bone folder, a fabric pen eraser, and also a coordinating thread to match your fabric, some fabric clips, and sewing pins. The next step you need to do is you need to cut 2 pieces of your cotton fabric, and the size you're going to be cutting is 12 inches by 16. The same thing with the lining, 2 pieces, 12 by 6, and the interface, 2 pieces, 12 by 6, and the vinyl, 2 pieces, 12 by 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You're gonna have 4 pieces, and all of them, 2 of each. You need to cut 12 inches by 6 inches. The next step is take one of your cotton fabric with a pattern. Make sure that you iron it nicely before you start this project. That's both of the 2 pattern fabrics that you chose. And then you're going to take your interface, and in your interface, I'm not sure if you can see it here on the camera, but where it's sticky and shiny, make sure that it's facing up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sandwich it together. I'm going to take the printed side fabric facing up, and I'm going to place it over, and like I said, I'm going to sandwich it together, make sure it's aligned, and then take my not take my fabric, but take my iron, and I'm going to gently press, give it a good pressing here. And now that I'm done, I'm just going to check to make sure that the interface did adhere to the fabric. So it looks good. I'm just going to give it one more time. A nice press. Okay. Okay, I'm finished with that. I'm just giving it some time for it to cool off. I'm going to take my other second piece. I already ironed the interface, so this is what it looks like. If I was using the Palin 987F, it'll be a little more thicker and more sturdy. So as you can see, the 2 pieces are ready. I'm going to do is I'm going to face them together. And now that the 2 pieces are together, I'm going to take a little pattern piece of paper that I made, and here in the corner, I'm just going to double check to make sure that your printed fabrics are facing each other. And here in the corner, I'm going to take the template, and I'm going to take my fabric pen, and I'm going to outline it. So this template is 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. And let me make my little marking here. You can use a ruler, whatever you prefer, but I prefer to create my own template. It makes it easier for me, especially when I'm filming my tutorial. Okay, so that's one box, and I'm centering here, not centering, but aligning it with the fabric and making my mark again. Making sure it doesn't move. Okay, so I have both corners. I have the markings. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pair of scissors and I'm going to cut out these cut out where I see the lining here. I mean the lining, but the line. I forgot to mention, make sure you have your fabric clips here to hold the fabric together before you start to cut. So this is what I'm doing here now. And then let me take this other end here to snip it off. That's one. And make sure that when you do cut the corners, don't throw out these pieces of fabric. We're going to be using them as tabs for the zipper. The next one here, let me just cut this one out. Okay, keep those little extra fabric, don't throw them out. And then you're going to do the same thing for the lining. So I make sure that the lining is lined up together, and I'm going to give it a nice little press to remove all the extra wrinkles on the fabric. Okay, let me double check to make sure everything looks good. And then now I'm going to do the same thing with the lining. I'm going to outline. And here's the next one, the next corner. I think I didn't have my pen tighten here. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing. Again, make sure you have your fabric clips to hold here the fabric while you are cutting it. Let me cut. A little extra here. And my last corner here to cut. I'm just taking my time, making sure I'm cutting everything well. And there we have it. So we have the corners only for the fabric and the lining. You're going to cut the corners here, but the vinyl, you do not do that. The next step is we're going to take our zipper and we're going to modify it. Like I said, if you don't have a 11-inch size zipper, that's okay. Use what you have, and then we can modify it. So I'm taking my ruler here. So what I would like to do is I want to take my fabric pen here, and I am just going to line my ruler above this end here. This is the stopper of the zipper, and then I'm going to make a little mark here. Not sure if you can see it on the camera, but there it is. So that's where I'm starting, and then over here is number 11 on the ruler, and I'm making that mark. Here and here is my 11 inches. first, I'm just gonna cut the bottom one first off here. Okay, a little crooked over here. Let me just, okay, now it's much better. And then before I cut this here, I'm gonna move the zipper down. And this is where you see the markings. And I'm gonna cut that little end. I'm just gonna make sure they're together here so I could cut it even. Okay, and that's done. So you can use your a lighter and use it across the end to prevent the fraying, which will be great. Okay, so now that I've done that, I am gonna take my little tabs and I'm gonna fold them. First, let me fold this in half. You could do it by hand, but I prefer to use the iron to give me a nice fold. And then I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side and fold it. Now that that's done, I'm going to now refold it again here to meet the folded area here. And I'm gonna gently iron it again. And then do the same thing to the other side. When you're doing this with the iron, just be very careful because it gets very, very hot. And you don't want to burn your fingers. And then I'm gonna refold it again. Give it a nice good press. I'm gonna put this to the side and do the same thing to the other one. Fold where the folding meets. And then do the same thing, refold. It's a little too hot there for my fingers. Okay, now another fold here. Now I'm gonna take my fabric clips. So I'm gonna take one of the tabs and I'm gonna put it right here and make sure it's aligned, that it's kind of even from one end to the end. It's a little extra, that's okay, but just make sure that it's aligned. And then I'm gonna take my fabric clips, hold them together, and then do the same thing to this side. Make sure they're together. Let me just move this up a little bit, the zipper. No, I think that's not gonna work. Let me move it down a little bit. And then take the other fabric tab, put it together, and use the fabric clips to keep them together, all sandwiched. And then we're gonna take it to the sewing machine and we're gonna be sewing across to secure the zipper with the tab. Okay, I'm here by the sewing machine and I'm gonna start to sew. I'm gonna back stitch to secure the stitches and continue to sew. And back stitch. And this is what it should look like when you finish top stitching the tab to the zipper. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to remove the clip fabrics. And I forgot, I have to retrieve the thread from the bottom. Okay, and making sure everything looks good. And then just lower the foot. stitch, and back stitch, and I am done. This is how the zipper should look once you completed sewing both tabs at both ends of the zipper. Now that we finished that, now we're going to take one of the printed fabric, and then we're going to take the vinyl, and we're going to place it on top and make sure that it's even and centered. And then we're going to take the lining and put it on top. So we're going to sandwich it together. And then I'm going to take my fabric clip it together. And then we're going to take it to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew across, and the seam allowance will be about 3/8 right across. And then do the same thing for the other set. Again, as you can see, the printed fabric size facing up, we have the vinyl in the middle, and then we have the lining on top sandwiched. Before we start, I just want to mention that make sure you use a Tofflin foot or a walking foot, because it'll be much easier when you're sewing with vinyl. So here we go. And also on my sewing machine, stitch length, I have 3.5. Back stitch, and you're going to do the same thing to the other piece. Okay. Now that we've finished stitching across, I'm going to open this end, and I'm going to pull the vinyl, stick it out, and then the most important thing is to align these two together. So I'm using my fingers to kind of press. I'm not using an iron, because we know that if we use iron on this vinyl, it will completely melt. So I'm just using my finger, pressing everything down. And then I'm gonna take my fabric clip at the end over here to secure it. And then I'm gonna take my sewing pins and just pin here at the end so everything will stay stable when I sew. So this is what it looks like. I'm gonna fix this a little bit. Just make sure everything is nice and smooth. Okay. And then I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, and I'm going to top stitch. 3/8 is the seam allowance, and I'm going to do the same thing for the other piece. Stitch right across. Okay, we're going to stitch. 3/8 is a seam allowance. And this is what it looks like on the back when you finish sewing. So let me just show it to you better. So this is what it looks like on the back when you finish sewing. Okay, the next step, we're gonna take our zipper. I left the zipper a little bit open. Makes it easier for me to center it. And also make sure that each side over here is even. And once you establish that, you're gonna take your fabric clips and clip the zipper onto the vinyl. Make sure it's even, and then we're gonna take it to the sewing machine, and our seam allowance will be 1/8 right across here. All right, I'm going to start to stitch, back stitch, coming here to the end. I'm just leaving the needle down. I'm lifting the foot presser and moving the zipper out of the way. And now I'm going to resume sewing, back stitch to end it. And this is what it looks like. Now the next step is, now that we finished stitching across, I'm going to flip this to fold it in this direction, and I'm going to use my fingers to press, because we are now going to stitch right again across here to secure this vinyl fold onto the zipper. Okay, let me just take it to right here. Okay. Do a little back stitch and stitch across. I want to make sure everything is nicely even. Here we go. Okay, we're coming to the end. Again, I'm going to leave my needle down, lift my foot presser, and move the zipper out of the way. Coming where the tab is, back stitch to secure. So here, this is what it looks like now. Now that we've finished top stitching here on top of the zipper, we are going to take the other panel and make sure that we are facing both fabrics face to face, and make sure that it's in line on top with the top of the zipper. And again, we are going to take our fabric clips and sandwich it together. Move this zipper out of the way. So this looks even on both sides and here on the top. And then we are going to do the same thing. We are going to stitch across here and refold it. So let's go back to the sewing machine. Okay, now I am going to top stitch, of course, 1/8. Let me just do some adjustments here, because it's vinyl and sometimes the vinyl sticks to the other vinyl. Okay, looks good. Okay, let me start. Back stitch. zipper out of the way and just making sure that I'm keeping the needle down and lifting the foot presser. Okay. All right, keep it down, making sure everything is aligned. That stitch. And now that that's done, I am going to fold it back like we did with this one over here. And okay, so this one's going to be a little bit challenging. So here we go. Let me use my fingers to do some pressing. And let me get my thread up. Making sure everything is even here. It's a little sticky here, so I have to just kind of work with it. Okay. Okay. Ooh. Finger here. Okay, now I've got my finger where I need it to be. Okay, now I'm going to, okay, now it's top stitching across. I'm coming with the zipper. Let me move it to the side. Stitch. Okay, and we are done because now we have both of the zippers attached to the final. And again, I used white so you can see the stitches, but you'll be using a coordinating fabric so you won't see the color of the thread if you use black. As you can see, the zipper is attached to both of the panels here on the top here. Now I am going to fold, and I'm going to take one of the fabric clips and clip these ends together. Make sure that you're folding it, and do the same thing to this side. I'm going to do it this way. And I'm going to remove some of these sewing pins that I have here attached to the fabric here. Okay, so now I'm going to align this, take fabric clips and clip here, and also clip over here at this end. And I'm going to take a pin over here to kind of keep things nicely secure. And then we are going to go to the sewing machine, and we are going to sew down here in this end, and this area too. Before I start to sew, I'm going to open up the zipper, which I forgot to do. Open the zipper halfway, and then just reclip this here. Okay, so now I'm going to remove this and then just put, make sure everything is aligned. And here I go, starting to sew. Back stitch. Okay. And now let me just make sure I got that end good. Okay, now I'm gonna stitch here at this end here. stitch. Let me get my thread. Okay, now I'm at the end here, the last stitch. Okay. Okay, I am done now. We finished stitching 1, 2, 3 sides. Now, the next step is we are going to box our corners here. So let's see if you can get a good view of this. Okay, so I want to make sure that both of these ends here match, and I'm going to take a fabric clip. Make sure that one side is facing this way and this side facing this way, and then do a nice paper, not paper but fabric clip, and then turn around and do the same thing to the other side. Make sure both ends match. Everything's looking good. And then one side faces the other side, and then I'm going to take my fabric clip and we're going to take it to the sewing machine and stitch right across. Okay, I'm here at the sewing machine. I'm getting ready to start to sew. I'm just trying to find a good way to sew this corner of this box. Okay, so here I go. I am going to back stitch and then continue to sew straight on and then back stitch. Flip it to the other side. Now I have to get my thread up. Okay, so I can start sewing this other end. Okay, let's see, can we make it look good? Okay, and fold it correctly. Okay, here I go. The next end, let me just move this, oops, let me move my needle up, and okay, now I can center it, and then back stitch. Okay, so I stitched, I can't even speak today. So as you can see, I stitch across both of the corners here. Okay, as you can see, I finished stitching both of the corner of the bag here. I'm just snipping off the extra thread. Okay. Okay, so now that it's done, I'm going to turn the bag inside out gently, turning it. Let me get these corners. The bone folder is excellent to use to work on the opening up the corners. Okay, let me just get this up, and then get this side over here up. If I had enough of the Palin 987 F, it would have been excellent, because this would have stand up very well. And here we are done. And look how nice it looks. Let me just go back in here. Okay, just open it up. Okay. So this we are done with our sewing project. I hope everybody enjoyed my tutorial on how to make a clear vinyl pouch. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends and your family. And also, if you're not a subscriber, please click on the subscribe button to subscribe. And also, if you click on the bell, YouTube will notify you every time I upload a new video. So until next time, bye.